Hello, everyone, and welcome to In Conversation with Jen and Shirley. We are so happy to be here today. We have an amazing guest, Renee Hubb, and she's
Yeah.
from Maryland. Maryland, what state? Oh my gosh, I can't believe
Baltimore is a city in Maryland, so Maryland would be the
that.
state.
See, that's why. That's why I
She,
didn't know the state, because the state is
Jennifer's in
Maryland.
Canada and I'm in the US. That's the only reason why I could answer.
That is the excuse we'll go with. Well, welcome, Renee. Welcome.
Thank you so much. And thank you all so much for having me.
No
No
problem.
problem. Awesome. So to confirm, what city are you in Maryland? Is it Baltimore? I just assume.
It's not Baltimore, but I'm about 20 minutes from there. I'm in Gaithersburg, Maryland, which is Montgomery County, Maryland.
Oh, I think my aunt lives there. She's a teacher in Maryland.
Small. I mean, we are just on
I know, like all kinds of connection here. So, well, let's tell the world about you. So, Ms. Renee, tell us a little bit about your background and what you do. We like to interview entrepreneurs, so tell us all about your businesses, but tell us about you too.
Sure. Well, my name is Renee Hubb, and I have several businesses, actually. I have From Bound to Found, which is T-shirts, a journal, a book as well about my life. And then I have a catering company with my sister and daughter. It's called Robin and Renee's Catering. So I'm kind of like all over the place, but it's a good thing to be right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, they say, you have to have 13 streams of income to achieve that.
They upped the number. Good gracious. Last time I checked, it was 7. Here we go.
You're right, though. And I can tell you actually why I started my business. I lost my job, and I realized at that moment that I never wanted one source of income. And I literally heard God say to me, use what you have.
Right.
And we've always been, we've always been cooks. And I was like, this is it right here. We have to start our business. And that's when my book was birthed. So it's like out of adversity came both businesses.
Very true. Very true. So what kind of catering company is it?
We are a soul food catering company. And we have just been, when I say for us to be a small business, the favor opportunities that have come our way are amazing. We have catered events for companies such as Kaiser Permanente, Capital One Bank, the delegate of New Jersey. We catered her lunch at the Congressional Black Caucus. So it's like we're small, but the favor is just amazing and mind-blowing.
That is so amazing. How did you come about those opportunities though? Like, cause it sounds like that's a big deal. Like, it's not just, your everyday kind of a opportunity.
Yeah, I'm going to go
those are big.
It's not like that. Right?
Yeah.
No, believe it or not, we were featured on 2 local news stations here, Channel 7 and Channel 9. And the Congresswoman for New Jersey, her campaign manager, Googled catering companies, and they saw our interview on one of the news channels. And she was like, we have to get them. And when she called, I was like, hello. And at first I thought it was a joke. I was like, is this real? And she was like, this is real. I was like, oh my gosh. And then I had to Google. I was like, but I don't know who she is. So I had to Google. I was like, I don't know. And so that's how they found us through our news interview, and just being able to get our name out there. Social media is the biggest tool right now, especially since you can't interact. So just promoting.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Awesome. So you kind of a little bit touched on what inspired you to start your businesses, besides the fact that you wanted to have multiple streams of income. If we think about From Bound to Found as an example, what inspired that?
From Bound to Found, actually, it's about my life. I was a teenage mom, and I raised my little sister. We lost our mom at a young age, and I took her in as well. And it's about the struggles that I went through, being a teenage mom and battling with suicide and battling with being homeless and overcoming all of those obstacles, but showing people, and even, bad relationships, showing people how to get free from those things and letting them know that you may be there, but it doesn't mean you have to stay there. Like there's life after that, and you can come out just like I did.
Yeah. So often when we're in the midst of the chaos, like the midst of that storm, we're thinking, there's no way I'm going to get out of this. I have
Yes.
no idea how I'm going to get out of this. But one of the things that I tell my clients all the time is that the one constant in life is change. So this can't stay the same. Right.
And that's my biggest thing, you know, like you said, when I was in those situations, I could not see my way out. Only thing I saw was, if I end this today, you know, I'm thinking tangible things like my kids, they'll have money, you know, because I had life insurance, not realizing that they needed something more. They needed me to physically be here to show them that I made it through this, and you can make it through it. You don't have to go through it. And also letting other women know, these are the decisions that I made. Learn from them, take heed, and try to go in a different direction.
Right. And you know, it's sometimes when you've gone through it and people see what you're doing, it's like, oh, well, she couldn't have gone through anything.
Yes.
It couldn't have been that bad. But when you're in the midst of it, when you were in it, what was something that helped you to get through it? Like, if you could share a little piece that you wouldn't mind sharing with the world, that something tangible, that this is what I did, or this is what I believed so that I could get through this time.
What helped me get through that, honestly, was when I found my relationship with God. Because I needed that. I needed something to believe in, because I lost my mom. I needed something to believe in, because at that point, my dad and I weren't talking. And people don't realize that, and the Bible says that God will never leave you nor forsake you. And I needed that. And he showed me that through all of that, I'm here with you while you're going through. And we have to know, you're going to go through trials in life. I don't care who you are. You can be saved, you can be unsaved. Trials and tribulations and obstacles are going to come. But we have to know that we can't give up in the middle. You know, it's a process. People always look at the end result, but you have to always remember the middle part. And in that middle part, I mean, I felt God's love. I felt that with me. And I had a connection with friends that said, I'm praying for you. You're going to make it through this. And your connections matter. I don't care who you are. You need that one person that's going to be there to pull you up, that's going to say you can make it. Where you are right now is not where you're going to stay. There's something better for you on the other side. You just have to look at the other side and not look at where you are.
Reach it, girl.
That's what I was about to say. I'm like getting chills over here.
That is so true. It is.
It is. I love it. So I understand the inspiration behind the From Bound to Found. You have a couple things though with From Bound to Found. You have a book, and you have
a book, a journal, t-shirts. And with every t-shirt from Bound to Found, I don't like to just have a shirt. So anyone who buys a t-shirt from Bound to Found, I ask them to write a testimony, something that they've overcome, that they were bound in. So every shirt has a story. If you go to my Instagram or Facebook page, you'll see the people with their t-shirt on, but you're able to read their situation. One person was in an abusive relationship. One person was talking about when she lost her mom. One person was talking about overcoming suicide. One person had low self-esteem. So you're able to see, like, these shirts have a meaning. These people were bound from one thing, but now they found freedom. So that's the purpose of the t-shirts. I knew when I had this, I was like, you know, I knew God gave it to me. And when he did, I was like, I don't want another t-shirt. I want every shirt to have a meaning.
Nice.
Oh my gosh, I love it. It's almost like the concept of how people are like, you know, pay it forward. But that's like another way to do it. Like, that's just, oh my gosh, that's amazing. Like, I love it. I love it. I love it.
Wonderful. So are those the shirts behind you, like in the background?
This is another shirt that I have. It's called Faith Walker.
Okay.
And with Faith Walker is just another thing. You know, I always tell people, we always had people say, oh, I have a vision, or I want to start a business. But faith without works is dead. So you have to put some feet on along with your faith. So that's what Faith Walker is letting people know, like, I walk by faith. Everything I do is by faith. I'm going to do this. So that's what Faith Walker is about.
Nice. You know, just a little bit of hope and faith can get you through anything.
Yes, I tell you.
Anything. Wow, that's nice.
So you've like covered like all the bases for me without me even getting all my questions out. I'm like, but I guess if you had, if with your business, or when people come to you for your services and things like that, maybe even with the catering company, what are some of the challenges that you face in terms of, if people wanting to do business with you? Like one of the misconceptions out there is, or a big one is, doing business with Black business.
Yes.
Is that is that anything you've encountered, and how do you overcome it?
We have encountered well, people always want a discount somehow.
Right.
And we're not, we're a business. We can't always give a discount. So I try to put it in the sense that whenever I send out a quote for something, I let people know, we have to buy the food. We have to drive to the store. You have to look at the manpower that's behind it. And that's why the prices are what they are. And we try to make sure we have prices that are comfortable for everyone. But that's the biggest obstacle. I know your cousin such and such. Can I get a discount? I'm like,
right.
I'm sorry, we can't do that today.
Right.
So I think that's one of the biggest obstacles that we face.
Yeah. And your time is valuable. Like,
yes.
I remember reading a post somewhere, and it was talking about a service that someone was providing, and someone, I guess, was complaining about it. And they said, you're not paying just for the service. You're paying for me having to go to university and get this degree and spend this time in the volunteering part, the co-op or whatever. You're paying for all of that.
Yes.
On top of my time to help service you, right? And people don't understand that that's valuable.
It's very valuable, because everything that we do when it comes to the catering business, like our potato salad, is handmade. So you're talking about buying all the ingredients, cutting up potatoes, cutting up different things, mixing it up, because we're very big with quality. I don't want to just say, here's your food. No, we're taking our time. We are making sure the food is cooked right, seasoned right, making sure you have your delivery on time. So it's a lot of back behind the scene pieces that people don't see, where they're just like, well, I just want to pay. Yeah, but look at the work and labor that was put into this.
So I couldn't make an order from Canada, could I? Because just hearing you talk and the quality, I'm like, dang, I'm hungry.
If you would like some potato salad, I will overnight. Our potato salad is the biggest hit. I
was going to ask, like, what's the favorite thing people order from you? So is your potato salad?
Our potato salad, our baked beans, and our meatballs are like the biggest hit, because like I said, we make our stuff from scratch, and it's seasoned, and it's just right. We're actually working now with the local grocery store here to get the potato salad inside of the grocery store.
Oh wow, so, that is amazing. Yes.
When I say
go girl, nice.
We are, and I tell people all the time, we are two sisters and my daughter, and we are just redefining the odds. We are stepping out there by faith. We're doing things that people are just like, how in the world are y'all doing it? But it's like, when God has something in you, a purpose and a plan, and you're in your lane, the favor will take you places that money cannot get to.
Yes.
And that's what I tell people. You have to make sure you're doing what you're purposed to do and what God has told you to do. And when you do, that favor will take you places that will blow your mind.
It's true.
I was just talking to somebody about that last week. We were, she wrote a book, a purpose journal, and she used one of my quotes in her journal. So she's doing like an online book tour. So she's interviewing all of us about purpose that have a quote in her book. And that was one of the things I was telling her. I said, you have to, if you want to be successful in life, you do have to make sure you're operating in your purpose. That's right. I can think of all the different things I've tried that didn't really move forward until I started moving into my purpose. And a lot of times with purpose, people think it has to be like a tangible thing. Like I can write books, or I can play music or something like that. And sometimes, for me, it was, one of the things is like life coaching. And I believe the things that we're doing here right now with putting people on a platform so they can talk about what they're doing and obstacles they've overcome. It's things like that where things actually start moving, right? Yeah. And you actually start seeing success because you're right where you're supposed to be. So
that's right.
Yeah.
And God is gracious and God is patient, because I don't know how many times I have tried to help God out with doing
right.
and it's like he sat back and said, okay,
fine, I'll let you do it your way.
Yeah.
and I'm
Are you
sitting there and
done
I'm
now? So let me do it.
trying,
Yes.
can't get anywhere, and then it's like,
Yeah.
okay, let's do it your way.
Uh-huh.
And the favor, boom, boom, you're right, it just fall in place. So
It's like time speeds up too. You
Yes,
know,
it
it's like you spend all that time muddling around with all this other stuff for years, and then finally this year you decide, I'm going to do this right here, and then things just start going. So yeah,
and that's what happens. Things accelerate because you're where you're supposed to be. That's right.
Right.
So okay, so given it's a catering company, given that COVID-19 happened in March and everything got shut down, then that must have had some sort of impact on your business. How has COVID-19 impacted you, and what did you guys have to do to pivot, or did you have to pivot and move in a different direction?
Believe it or not, it impacted us, but we operated out of faith. Meaning, a lot of people are saying, you know, I can't do this, I can't do that. We stepped out there. The month before last, let's see, this is June, April, we sponsored a family. I put it out there. We were like, we want to help somebody. And someone contacted me and said it was a mom and she had 5 children and she lost her job. So we sponsored them for a week worth of meals. And people are like, how are you all able to do that? And I'm like, because if you step out there and help somebody else when you know you're not where you want to be, you'll be surprised at what will happen and what doors will open. And last month, we sponsored a women's shelter where we prepared breakfast and we donated masks and different personal hygiene things to them. And this month, I was like, let's do lunches. And the orders, we had to shut it down. We had so many orders. We had to break it up into 2 different days. And I'm just like, we were like, we just put it out here. But I'm like, we have to stop. We can't do anymore. And it was like, because we operated when we didn't have, when we got ready to do, it was like we just had an overflow. And I'm like, the downtime helped us. I look at the positive side, the downtime, we had to regroup, we rethought some things, we were promoting online. So we kind of shifted from having major events. Let's take the food to people. That's what we're going to do. And by doing that, like I said, we had to shut it down. Like, we can't take any more orders.
Wow.
That is amazing. And it's so many stories I've heard like that, where like a business was set up to do a certain thing a certain way, and then COVID you had to pivot, you had to do something else. But you still kept going. You didn't go with, you know what, I'm just going to sit here because I can't do what I originally was going to do, or I'm going to wait on this loan or something like that. But you kept moving, and you have to. Yeah, in a spirit of giving versus, you know, so that's amazing. I love it.
And you said something really important too, like when COVID happened, you're just like you, I heard a lot of people talking about what they can't do. Oh, I can't do this now and I can't do this now. And I said, okay, but what can you do?
That's right.
Just change it around, and then the ideas just flow.
Right.
Yes, because we thought, you know, I'm like, we can do a pop-up shop. Pop-up shops are really big here. Do a pop-up shop. Let's do lunches. Let's do dinners. And it's like when you have a business, you have to pray, but you have to be willing to change and shift things.
Yes.
You may be used to doing it this way, but times change. If times change, you have to be willing to take that shift and change with the times so that you're not sitting there stuck.
Right. Some of the biggest businesses and biggest ideas came out of like the Great Depression.
Yes.
Those people were willing to think differently or try something new. You know, they didn't just sit on what everybody else was sitting on in terms of, you know, what can I do? You know, look at what happened.
That's right. Think outside the box.
Think outside the box. Exactly.
You know, this whole conversation just reminds me of a story. Shirley and I, we coach and teach this program called Slay Your Inner Bully, right? And it talks to people about, or women, about how to shift their mindset. It really helps them to become more self-aware and all of that stuff. And one of the classes, we talk about growth and the incredible strength that you can get when you're in the midst of that storm, because that's where the growth is, right? So there's a story we have about a plant. If you look at a plant, right, it starts as a seed, you put it in the ground and you water it, you take care of it, and it has to go through like it has to push up in that ground, sometimes goes through the concrete or whatever it is, right? It has to weather the storms that are outside. It has to weather the insects. It has to do all of those things in order for it to grow and be its purpose, which is to bloom.
Yeah.
Right? And when it blooms, it's beautiful, it's gorgeous, it's achieved its purpose. And that is what we have to do, right? We have to water ourselves, take care of ourselves, and we're going to and then when those storms happen, we just have to believe, okay, I have a purpose. I have a purpose. And then when we get there, we just boom.
Yes. And not just that, when we get there, because one of the other things we talked about during the Slay Your Inner Bully was the bamboo tree. And how it takes it like 5 years before, like you can plant that seed in the ground, but it takes it, I think, like 5 years to even break the ground. That's the first thing. So you have to sometimes operate in a way where nobody can see what's, either people don't realize the struggle you're going through, right? To get to where you're going to be, or you're like, I'm doing all the things. And, you know, maybe that one bamboo shoot might come up before this one does, right? And you still have to keep growing and growing. And then when you finally grow up, you grow up really strong and tall, but then the wind comes. And the way bamboo trees are, they bend, but they don't break. And they, you know, they're very resilient. And you have to be that way in life. Like once you go, because like you said earlier, we're not going to not have trials and tribulations. Something is always going to change. We're always going to go through something, but we're going to have to be resilient and learn from whatever happened before to get us through to the next thing. And always know that we'll bounce back.
That's right. I'm thinking about, you know, you're talking about plants. And I posted this on my social media page. I was at work one day this year and my coworker bought me a plant. It was a little small plant and I was like, oh, it died. And my other coworker, he said, Renee, it's not dead yet. He was like, don't throw it away. And I'm like, but it's no good. And he said, don't throw it away. And I kept it. I was like, let me see what this thing is going to do. And a month later, I looked, I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, it wasn't dead. And literally I got that revelation and I saw myself in that plant because I was the one that, you know, people said, you're not going to make it. You're not going to do this. You can't. And I had that victim mindset because I was told that for so many years. And when I saw that thing that I thought was dead, when I saw it start to bloom, I was like, that was me. You know, people said I wasn't going to do it, but now I see where God is taking me. He's using all of that for my good. And I'm like, all of that, when the people thought I was dead, now I'm starting to blossom. Now I'm starting to rise and being raised up. And it's just, it's a blessing when you see something like that manifest before your eyes, because 10 years ago, I would have never in my life imagined that I would be where I am now. Never imagined that.
And so y'all hear that? Don't give up.
I know. I just hearing you talk, I have to get that book. I just have to get that book. Because you know, when you think about it, teenage mom, your mom passes away, then you have to take your sister, and you're a teenager raising 2 children. The odds are totally against a Black woman. The odds were totally against you. But and then when we talk to you, there's this peace over you, right? And this joy and it's like
an assurance. Like I just know that I know no matter what.
Yes, and that's what it is. That's what it is. And now looking, and I tell people all the time, and I never brag, but to see that I prayed over my children, my daughter, I tell people I prayed that generational curses would be broken. And she's married now. She has a child. She had her child while she was married. So
wait. You're a grandmother?
Yes, I'm a grandmother. I'm a grandmother. So that curse was broken. You know, she's married with a child. So that thing broke. My little sister, the one people said, you can't raise her. You know, she's going to be just like you. She is 30. She has her associate's, bachelor's, master's, and now she's getting her PhD.
What?
And I'm like, this is the one that you said I couldn't do it. Like, look now. Like, look at what God did. He kept the promises that I prayed over them. And I tell people the struggle was real, believe me. But the end result and where they are now, I'm thankful. I am so thankful.
It makes every bit of it worth it.
Yeah.
Right.
Not done yet.
Wow. Look, we're already almost at our time, and before we
Gosh,
get
that's
there,
quick.
it's awesome. It's like what does it say? Time flies when you're having fun.
Yes.
But, so I have I always try to give everybody like a weird question. That's my thing. So I wanted to know, as if you really could give us anything else at this point, but if you could put anything on Times Square, like on the digital screen in Times Square, what message would you want to share, and just a tiny bit of why?
I would put inspire to live. And I say that because I feel like that's my purpose, is to inspire people to live, because I know what it's like to give up. I know what it's like to not have hope. And that's the biggest thing I want anybody to know, that I want to inspire people to live. Meaning your life should be a walking billboard where you are inspiring people to not give up. You are inspiring people to want to grow. You are inspiring people to want to focus on a vision, focus on a purpose. That's my biggest thing. I tell everyone, make sure you are inspiring somebody to live, because death is all around us. It's everywhere you look.
Yeah.
But when you inspire people to live, you're making a lasting impact on them.
Oh,
Wow.
that's amazing.
It is.
I am so glad we talked today.
Yes.
Oh, I enjoy talking with you all as well. I really have enjoyed myself. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for being here.
Problem.
So can you tell everyone where they can find you? Because I'm sure people are going to be after this.
You can find me on Facebook and Instagram. My personal page is Renneé Hubb, on both pages. And also on Instagram, I'm at From Bound to, the number 2, Found. Facebook as well, From Bound to Found. You can find me, my catering business is at Robin and Renee, on Facebook and Instagram as well.
Okay, and we'll make sure to put all of those handles and everything in the
description. Yeah.
Okay.
Post, so.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Renee. Shirley, close us off.
So I just want to say again, thank you for coming, Renee. And I hope that everybody who watched is totally inspired to live by everything you heard today. Definitely just the From Bound to Found. I want you to know, just like Ms. Renee has been teaching us this entire time, that no matter what you're going through, no matter what your past is, no matter what is going on, don't let your dreams die. Stay inspired and keep on going, because you're gonna, if you're resilient, and you are, you're gonna bounce back, and you're gonna get through this, and you're gonna look a year from now, 6 months from now, 10 years from now, and look back and say, I can't believe where I am today. If you keep going.
Nice. All right. Well, thank you, everyone. Bye.